Hey guys, I wanted to just do an impromptu sort of podcast here. I'm just recording from my phone inside my house, and I just wanted to give a little bit of an update as to what I've been feeling and what I feel called to share. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'm just going to let it flow. And I think that's sort of the theme as well. Flow is the theme that I wanted to talk about, that I feel compelled to talk about. As some of you may know, I have been immersed for the last 16 days, more than a little over 2 weeks, in this man called Feel Good. And you can check him out on Instagram at Feel Good Life, or if you put in Phil, Phil, Good, Good, on YouTube, a bunch of his videos will pop up. And I have felt so connected to some of the information that he shares. Well, almost, I'd say all of it, really. He is a sort of spiritual, if you want to say new age, you can, I guess, channeler. But what he really does is he's tuned in to other frequencies and other dimensions and a higher perspective of the nature of reality. For those that are a bit skeptical and only believe what they see, this might seem a bit like frou-frou and hocus pocus. But if we see things from a spiritual and even beyond spiritual, a quantum level, a quantum sort of a level of quantum physics, we can begin to explore some of these ideas. So something that I've always been interested in, why are we here, sort of existential questions about life and death and the afterlife and what it all means and what are we doing on this planet. And I've always found it difficult to just focus on the mundane sort of day in, day out sort of activities in terms of, I'm good at creating routine. I'm great at creating schedule and filling up my day, but there's a sense that it's not fulfilling. Only the things that we really love are fulfilling. But even in engaging in the things that we love, some of these questions about why we're here and what is the meaning of life still pervade my consciousness. So a couple weeks ago, I went through a pretty enormous shift in my relationships, and a couple relationships in particular. And it was so jarring to me that something I can only describe as deep and profound happened on a psychological or spiritual or emotional or mental level. I'm not sure what you want to call it. But regardless, there was a pretty impactful change, and it happened on the full moon, and some of the synchronicities that occurred really led me to think that, wow, there are some larger forces at play here, that I could not have found myself in this situation had it not been for some divine hand that was sort of moving all pieces towards this crescendo, or this pinnacle, this one point that changed everything. So without going into detail, I just want to say that something deep and profound happened within me, and I've been on this journey. And I found, through my good friend who sent me along a little snippet of Feel Good, sent me into this real explorative place of exploring the nature of reality, the nature of multiple realities, the nature of quantum physics and multidimensionality. Bottom line, I'm kind of still in it, but I need to come up for air after about 2 weeks, and thank goodness this time has happened when I have clients out of town, and it's pretty slow between Christmas and New Year's anyway. So it's also a great time to reflect. And in reflection, in my own reflectings, in my own reflection and introspection, I've really been called to meditate. And I want to just kind of let you know about what I've been feeling about meditation in and of itself. And this goes hand in hand with other spiritual teachings that I've heard, and also what was really reinforced and what I was reminded of by listening to Feel Good. And that is two things to start. There are many ways to look at reality. There's also more than one reality, from a quantum physics level. In other words, there's only the now moment. Linear time and space is a construct. And within this now moment, there are an infinitude of now moments, each with their own timeline, each with their own set of occurrences and happenings that go down other timelines. So in other words, it's like a crystal. They always refer to it as a crystal. It's like there are a million ways beyond. There's an infinitude of ways to look at things, and it's all happening now. Like the idea of past lives or future lives, it's all happening now. It's actually they're simultaneous. So we are experiencing one localized, one hyper-focused reality, and at the same time, all this other stuff is happening. Now, that's the first thing, quantum physics, right? Some of this is not new for some of you. And it's not new to me either, but it's seeping in deeper for me, coupled with, number two, the imagination and meditation. And understanding what the imagination is pretty fascinating, because what I'm realizing is, from a quantum level, everything is energy, everything is vibration, everything is manifested in a sense, everything is, you are the epicenter for experience, for your own personalized experience. In other words, I'm going to experience my reality, and I'm going to be the focal point. And you are going to be the focal point of your reality. We are going to have two completely different experiences, but from a higher level, everything is one. And we are simply two aspects of an infinitude of all that is. So, without going too deep here, I want to say that what I'm learning right now is tapping into the imagination whilst meditating can possibly be the most exhilarating inner trip. I mean, I went to a float tank today, and I sat in it for an hour. I was in the float tank for an hour, and it was amazing. And I really played with the concept of visualizing multiple scenarios as best I could, using my imagination in this darkness. So I had nothing to focus on, no distractions, no sound, nothing, complete sensory deprivation. But so I had no distraction, and I was able to really conjure up images in my mind that some of them sort of meandered in there. They weren't conscious thoughts, conscious images, conscious memories. Others were, I felt like I was exerting effort in my mind to focus on what specifically I wanted to envision. And this is what I'm learning. When we imagine something, we're going to feel a certain way, and that feeling has a vibration. It has a frequency. It makes us feel. It's like a note on the piano. If it's a happy thought, if it's a thought that gives you joy, it's probably going to feel good, right? It is going to feel good. If it is a sad thought, you're going to feel what? Sad. If it's a scary thought, you're going to feel scared. And any one of those emotions is like a musical instrument that you are playing. If it's something you're afraid of, and you don't think that you're actually the one in charge of that feeling, well, you are. And there's something for you perhaps to learn and to conquer from that, because, again, from a level of quantum physics, what is perceived as scary or as darkness from a higher perspective is seen as another aspect of you, or another aspect of light that has not known itself yet. And so that in and of itself is something to ruminate on, because we can truly move into a place where we can see all darkness as potential light. And therefore, how amazing is that? Even to think about it, it's a lighter thought, literally a lighter thought. Okay, so meditation and the imagination, and the idea of when I was focusing on these images, I was also paying attention to what I was feeling, because my intention was to move into visualizations and conjure up images of potential realities in my mind that would bring me joy. And so I hold on to that feeling. I feel the feeling of joy. I feel the feeling of excitement, of giddiness, of abundance, of everything that I want to experience or whatever I focused on. And that feeling, I want to serve as a bridge between my imagination and my physical reality. So some of people would say that the emotions are like a fourth dimensional reality. We live in a third dimensional reality of physical time and space, linear time and space. This non-physical dimension of our emotions is a very real dimension. And the fifth dimension would be, that would be perceiving all perspectives, no time and space, and understanding oneness with all. So apparently that's where we're headed. I agree. I'm learning a lot here still, but I've really, in the last couple weeks, have been challenged and called to really slow down and stop looking outward all the time. Outward for validation from others, from my environment, and to look for the answers that I have within myself. Look for the answers in myself and be more of a dot, according to Phil. And I encourage everyone to check out Feel Good Life, at Feel Good Life on Instagram. Check him out on YouTube. This guy is tapped in, so tapped in. So I guess what I would like, and I would encourage everyone to do, as I do it too more, is perhaps engage with the act of meditation a bit more, and at the same time perceive really pay attention to your imagination. Really flex that muscle a little bit more of your imagination and pay attention to how you are feeling and what images you are conjuring up from your imagination. You can paint the rainbow. You can experience anything. However, if you were to direct your energy, your brain, your mind towards images that give you peace, joy, fulfillment, gratitude, forgiveness, I believe, and if we carry those thoughts outside of our meditation and really sort of ground them in our physical bodies, I'm very curious to see what would happen. I think very good things will happen. Like magical things. I'm not just talking about you'll feel good, but I feel like this third dimensional reality is a byproduct of both a collective consciousness and a personal, individuated consciousness that we have basically been running consciously or unconsciously. And it might be time to wake up just a little bit more so that we are gaining perspective, awareness about what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and the outcomes that come out of that. So I might be rambling. I'll wrap it up here. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm very curious about what you guys would think about that. And please check out Feel Good Life. He's really been impactful. And I'm very curious to see what your thoughts would be as well. Until next time, enjoy your moments, and I will talk to you soon.